Hi, my name is Mel Ivarsson, née Atkins. I was at LEH between 1979 and 1990. I'm currently the Chief Development Officer of a biotech company in the US called Moderna. You may have heard of us because we are one of the first companies to have developed a vaccine against COVID-19. In my role as Chief Development Officer, I oversaw the clinical development of the vaccine. And so in answer to one of the great questions that you've put to me, in terms of which achievement in my life I'm most proud of, it's probably that one, outside of my wonderful family, of course. I had a fantastic time at LEH, and when I left in 1990, I went to the University of Bristol to do a physiology degree, followed by a PhD. I thought I'd actually spend my time in academia, and I did a postdoc at NYU in the US, followed by Lund University in Sweden. And around that time, I realized that actually I was interested in a career change, and I moved into the pharmaceutical industry, starting off at Eli Lilly back in the UK, where I was in early clinical development for 7 years, and then spent nearly a decade at Pfizer, in the UK for 5 years, then Sweden for 2 years, and then in the US for another 2 years. After that, I moved to a company called Shire, which specialized in clinical research for rare diseases. And then we were acquired by Takeda, and I ended up as head of global clinical operations at Takeda. I, during that time, also went back and did another degree. So I did my executive MBA at MIT and Sloan School of Management here in the US. And so my family and I have been in the US now for about 8 years, living just outside Boston. I think one of the questions you asked here around advice for people who want to go into the field. The biotech, pharma, medical research field is broad and it's very global. Obviously, the main hub for that now is in the US, with many UK companies having closed down over the last 10 years. But there is a vibrant biotech community sort of springing up in the UK. So be open. This career path has offered me great opportunity to live abroad, to work for different companies in different fields. And so it could offer great adventure and opportunity. And it's one of the most mission-driven careers you could have. Every day of my career, of my sort of 20 plus years in the pharma biotech industry, I have sprung out of bed every morning knowing that I'm going to go and do something mission critical in developing a new drug or a vaccine to help somebody. And you're giving hope. Hope is something that you can give other people because of how you spend your day every day. It's a pretty incredible way to have a career. You ask about 2 things that you've done in your life to challenge for change. The pharmaceutical and biotech industry is already incredibly ahead of many other industries with regards to the development of women. You show up with your PhD and you have a voice in the room, you have a seat at the table. It's down to you to decide what to do with it. What I chose to do with it was to say, I'm going to put my family first. I had a seat at the table. And what I did is I went to Pfizer and said, when I started my job there, I'd like to work school hours. And they were like, well, no one's asked, but why not? And we did a really good arrangement where I worked school hours and had, sort of flexed my hours. Didn't hurt my career in any way. I ended up as head of the department. So you basically have to decide what's right for you. What is right for you and your family? Put those people you love first. Because at the end of the day, nobody is going to turn back and go, I'm so glad that I worked so hard I was never there for my family or my friends. That's never happened to anybody. The most important thing is that you have balance in your life. And that means going and challenging the status quo. Go ask the question. The other thing that I think is really important is to build a strong network of people that go through your career with you. I have a fantastic group of female friends that we were all at Pfizer together in the UK. We all ended up in the US because this is where the industry has pretty much come now. And we still stay connected throughout. We've been in lockdown for a year over here, and we basically meet every Thursday night for a Zoom call and we chat about what's going on. We've supported each other throughout our entire careers for well over 10 years now. And we celebrate each other's successes, and we are there to help provide advice and guidance and network. find good mentors, find a good network, and support each other. That's really important. One thing you would change about your life if you weren't afraid of how people would react? Absolutely nothing. I've lived without regret. That's how I've chosen to live my life. Please don't be somebody who lives their life in a way that isn't true to themselves. Please don't be the person who lives with regret and who worries about what other people think. I'll tell you one thing, an education at LEH absolutely is exactly what you need to go into the world feeling pretty confident that you can meet any challenge head on and be yourself. If you could teach the women of world one skill to help them fight gender-based discrimination, what would it be? I can honestly say in the pharma biotech industry, you show up with your own scientific credentials and you have a seat at the table. I've never actually felt gender-based discrimination. I know there are many other industries, finance and banking, and there are many other communities in different parts of the US and the world where this is a bigger problem. But I can honestly say I have always been treated for the brain in my head and what comes out of my mouth and the actions that I take. Do you think there has been significant change in terms of gender equality now and when you left LEH? I hope so. I left LEH in 1990. It's a long time ago. And we have seen many more women rise up through the ranks, get onto senior positions on boards and in companies. And the really great thing is we're seeing women do that and have full lives because they've chosen to. When I was coming out of school in 1990, women who were making it to the top had often chosen their career over marriage and children because they didn't think they could have both. That now is, I hope, not crossing anybody's mind that you have to choose. Of course not. You live your life, whether that is marriage, whether that is a partnership, whether you choose to live it on your own. You live your life. If you want to have a family, you have a family. You live your best life. And I genuinely believe that that opportunity is there for everybody, and we have to take it. We have to grab it. It's not for somebody else to change the rules for us. It's for us to live our best life and say, this is how I'm going to do this. It's been a real pleasure talking to all of you today, and happy International Women's Day.